All right, guys. So we are at the end. We are at the end of 90 Day Fiance Love in Paradise. 90 Day Fiance, for those that don't know, is a reality show franchise that follows couples, one from the US. One person's from the US and one person is from another culture, another country. The different challenges they have in their relationship, their romance, challenges when it comes to being a fiance, getting married, the visa process, the 90-day K1 visa processes, which is where they get their name, cultural boundaries or cultural differences, trying to get used to those things, language barriers, all of that. That's what you deal with when you deal with 90 Day Fiance, and this spinoff is Love in Paradise. So that's the basis of the 90 Day brand, but it has many different spin-offs, many different couples, situations, and scenarios. And this is the end of Love in Paradise for this season. So let's get into these couples. We have Kyle and Anika. I'm not sure if I'm ever saying her name right, but I know at some point he just called her Annie. So I'm going to say Kyle and Annie. Annie got connected with him because she was looking for the possibility of having another child. This guy's an international sperm donor. They got kind of close and she figured, hey, he's gonna stop donating his sperm, which he does in an unusual way, which we've been talking about the whole season, where sometimes he says he uses a cup, but other times he goes the all natural way, and that's how he donates his sperm. So that's been an issue between them. She thought he was gonna give it up. He said it's difficult for him to even think about giving it up. At the end of the day, he said he's not giving it up. And they had one night together. They had an argument because he wouldn't bring the morning after pill. And so she got upset that he didn't respect her wishes. They then started arguing about the fact that the guy she was seeing while she was talking with him, because she says they weren't fully committed, she was seeing this other guy. She let him know that, and she also let him know that a few days before he arrived to see her, that she hooked up with him. So that shows how much respect she has for the relationship. I mean, I understand her being upset about a sperm donation, but it's kind of a double standard here because you just slept with somebody a few days before you were supposed to meet this person that you were hoping to have a relationship with. So I see a big double standard here. He says his last time was a month ago through his sperm donating situation. And, they ended up parting ways. They were trying to give an amicable goodbye, but Kyle then tries to say or ask her, since she was with that other guy and then she was with him not too much after that, was she trying to pin a baby on him? And she was basically like, she was disgusted by that question. She just didn't want to talk to him. She didn't want to have a baby with him. I'm not sure why anyone would unless they were desperate, as maybe many of his donors are. He was very eccentric, very strange. And I like eccentric people, but it depends on the levels and it depends on what you're doing. And if it ends up in a scenario where you're having sex with multiple people, even if it's for sperm donation, it just still seems creepy to me. And it's definitely something that I can't participate in for my own physical safety and even my emotional safety as well. I mean, what if he finds himself falling in love with one of these women that he donates to? I mean, anything could happen. He fell in love with her, even though he didn't donate to her yet. She was a prospect. So yeah, they parted ways kind of in an uproar as he accused her of possibly trying to pin a baby on him. And she just left him, like she just couldn't deal with him anymore. And she's glad and relieved that they're not moving forward. And he's saying, I'm going to find someone that's okay with me being a sperm donor for life. And I'll find that right person that'll be okay with that. And I'm sorry, I don't think there's going to be anyone that's okay with that. The only way that maybe like Annie was saying, is if he was not having sex with them, if he was just donating in a cup the traditional way, as they would do at a sperm bank, then maybe. But seeing his past, I would still be nervous, because if he's meeting up with these people, which is also not customary when it comes to sperm donation, he's meeting up with these people, getting personal with them. All of that is not customary within that industry. So by him doing that, I would already have a sneaking suspicion that he may be trying to do other things. All right. Next up, Alex and Adriano. Last time, Alex and Adriano, they were on the boat together. Their whole issue was threesomes and him not having a religious belief and him wanting to have threesomes. And that was their big problem. And then when he mentioned having one with her cousin, and she brought that back up when they were on this beautiful boat trip. And he kind of laughed it off like it was a joke. That made her even more upset at the scenario. He previously saw a group of women at the beach and was saying, you know, let's contemplate having a threesome with one of these women. So he continued to throw the threesome in her face. They broke up multiple times because of the threesome issue. And even as she tried to walk away from this, which she did and end up walking away from this because she just couldn't take that issue keep coming back up and keep coming back up. So at that time, he felt bad about it, because usually he's the one that breaks up with her because she wouldn't do the threesome, but now she's breaking up with him because that's all it seems that he wants is the threesome. But he's gonna say, I'm gonna try to make this work. He tried to apologize the next day, but she said, you know, you always do this to me, and then when we're back good, then you're gonna try to do the threesome thing again. But they had an amicable goodbye. He drove her to the train. They had a goodbye hug, and that's how things closed out. But I was like, yeah, if I'm never gonna see this guy again, I gotta get one good kiss at the end. I mean, that's my mindset, my thought. I mean, he's all the way in another country. I'm never going to see this guy again. You got to get one last final kiss, just like the romantic movies. What do you guys think? Maybe she was too upset and had no more feelings for him and was just turned off by the whole idea. But, you know, they had a nice little hug, seemed friendly and amicable, and it was a goodbye. And she said she's not going to put herself in a box. She's going to continue to look for what she wants and not put herself in that position just because she wanted a family, which is really what she wanted. But he just wasn't the type of person to provide that, you know, with his mindset and his attitude. He was showing her he wasn't a family man. So it was best that she move on. And, you know, it was good for her and a good idea. But, you know, have you ever lost someone, lost a man or lost a woman due to sex? You know, some people have so-called issues in the bedroom, but this was just an issue of just not wanting to do a certain thing, and because of that ends the whole relationship. I feel like if you really love somebody, that really shouldn't end your relationship. I feel like it's kind of a shallow way to base your life on, if you have to do that. And he tried to act like he was going to be a stand-up guy and, you know, be a family man so she would stay around, but she saw right through that. And she was fantasizing about how, you know, he's Italian, she's African American, how they would have this amazing wedding with food and family and music and just what that would look like. And I think that whole daydream and fantasy of hers is kind of what kept her sticking around. But I think she made the right choice, and I want to continue to see her journey. So those are two couples down, and these two couples are not staying together. Kind of a theme that I've seen before in this Love in Paradise franchise. All right, now we're on to Sean and Aaliyah, which are a couple that live an alternative lifestyle. Aaliyah used to be Robert and is now transitioned to Aaliyah. And Aaliyah decided to go talk to a plastic surgeon during this episode, but to set them up, you know, again, Sean and Robert then became Sean and Aaliyah, and Sean had to get used to this change. He didn't like the strong, confident version of this person that he wanted to be with. He wanted to be a little bit more fragile, a little bit more that he could control. So he ends up, you know, working to accept Aaliyah and then even proposing. But then they get into a big argument about he's going to be the boss and that Aaliyah's not going to be the boss B of him. But they work things out, and they're in a so-called open relationship. A lot of different things came out, but that's supposed to come to an end because they're supposed to be getting married and going through the K-1 visa process. But before Sean goes back, they see this plastic surgeon, which I kind of think the plastic surgeon was kind of into Aaliyah. I don't know, but Sean was like, well, this is a side note. Well, he was expressing it to Aaliyah that, you may get a botched situation and that. And even, he was expressing to us that, you may not even be attractive to me anymore because you already look beautiful the way that you are. You get all these different physical changes. And they were talking a little bit about what they would need to do some surgery as far as the facial features, the brow, the prominent brow, to remove that, and then they wanted to liposuction fat from the stomach to put it in the backside of them. So they kind of showed us a little bit how, give us a little bit behind the scenes of how that reconstruction would go. Didn't need to see all the things we saw, but this is what they do on TV. This is the Learning Channel, guys. And it's on cable. I don't think it was extremely graphic, but we saw a little more than we needed to see, I think, in the process of, okay, this is what I want done and that's what I want done and all of that. So I do think the guy was kind of coming on to Aaliyah a little bit, and Sean was saying, you don't really have to do much to yourself because Aaliyah / Robert, which now is just Aaliyah, does look pretty feminine. I mean, does have a lot of soft feminine looking features, is attractive, and it's possible that they could be, some of these surgeries take away your natural features and you don't even look like a person at times. You don't even look like yourself. So Sean's issue was that might happen, and I think they don't want them to completely transition either with a full transition, but we'll see what's gonna happen. We don't know. Leah's contemplating a lot of different things, but they're still together and planning to live together in the US, but I see that their relationship is gonna be quite complicated. Even Sean thinks so. And he had a memory book with pictures of Robert and Sean, and that's what it had on the outside. And he took that memory book with him. And even when he left, he was, caressing the memory book like, oh, Robert is gone. Like maybe he was still having feelings and wishing that Robert was still there, and he misses that connection after all that they've been through. And this whole journey is over for the show for now, that part of him is still missing Robert. So that may be another reoccurring issue for them. They may be on another one of these 90-day spinoffs. I don't know, because I do wonder what's going to happen with some of the couples. We know the first two aren't together. Sean and Aaliyah appear to be moving forward. Alex and Adriana are broken up, but Alex said she's going to continue to travel, and she may find someone that she loves and is suitable for her. So, that opens the door for her to possibly be on 90-Day Single Life or something like that. There's so many different franchises of this show. Some of these people might reappear, some of them may not, because I was curious to see what's going to be the aftermath. Sean and Aaliyah, that looks like a story that can definitely continue. And lastly, we are going to go to Madeline and Luke. In the whole prenup situation, Madeline and Luke kind of got into it because there was a rumor that while he was gone, they're engaged and everything. There's about a 10-year age difference. Madeline's only 19. I think he's 30. She's used to a lifestyle where he's bringing in a lot of money, but he recently lost his job. He has to go back and try to kind of re-secure his bag. He has multiple businesses, but none of them are really taking off. The best thing I think he does have is a $300,000 condo that he rents out to people that visit her country, kind of like a Airbnb type thing. So that's really his mainstay business, and he has to try to re-secure the bag. She doesn't want him to leave, and they kind of got into it because of the rumors of another guy sleeping in the bed with her, and she was topless. She insists that she wasn't. She was adamant that she was not going to fight about it or fight for him to stay with her or trust her, that she was right and he was wrong for not trusting her. But she didn't even really want to apologize or anything like that. So that was his issue. And he's starting to lose trust in her. They already talked about a prenup, which one of his friends, had brought up. And I guess rightly so, because this is the same friend that spilled the beans about her being topless in the bed with this other guy. So after all of that drama, it seemed like that things had come to an end, but Madeline is happy that hasn't come to an end. And, when Luke brings the prenup back up again, she feels like, I have to try to hold on to this relationship. I'm glad that he didn't dump me during that situation, and I'm going to try to hold on to this relationship. So I'll tell him, okay, I will sign this prenup. But, in the back of her mind, she's saying if he doesn't come back in a quick time frame, that she may or may not sign the prenup. They're both kind of playing the games back and forth, because last time he's saying, I accept your apology, but he's like, telling us the prenup situation is not done and I'm going to come back on her with that, which he did. And I don't blame him, but then now she's saying she'll sign it, but in the back of her head, she may not sign it. So it's just kind of this back and forth little game that they're playing. They appear to still be together. Of course, he's supposed to come back to her country once he again secures the bag. And hopefully that's the thing that really happens. They do this little hand sculpture thing together. You guys probably seen those hand sculptures where you put your hands in the I don't know what that stuff is called, but it sets and then you take it loose after it dries, and it's you guys' hands. So they had like a pinky promise hand thing that they did, and it was kind of wacky how they put too much water in it. They were kind of messing it up, and Luke was like, it's kind of like our relationship, kind of all over the place. But in the end, it looked like it came out pretty decent. But she's hoping that he comes back and things work out, and I guess he's hoping that she can be someone that he trusts. And he's saying he needs to come back because they fight too much. But I also think he believes he needs to come back because, she might be out there doing too much stuff without him being around. He does have trust issues, and he may be thinking that if he's not there, if the, what is that saying? When the cat's away, the mice will play. I think that's the thoughts he's having in his mind. And he really needs to come back and watch his wife to be. And I don't think that's healthy. Like, I know it can be hard to be in a long distance relationship, and especially if you're that young. I've been in some long distance relationships before, not as long as or far as that, but it can be difficult. And being that young, you probably want to be around your person all the time. You're about to marry this person. So it can be difficult for people to be faithful in those scenarios. But if you really care about that person, and you have to try to practice self-control and all of these things, if you really want that relationship to work, because honestly, if you can't do that now, then you're not going to be able to do it during the marriage. Honestly, at least the person will be there all the time, so you'll have somebody, but still, what if they leave for a long trip one day? Are you going to be that person that just can't wait a few days, can't wait a week, can't, you have to really work on your self-control, your commitment issues and all that when it comes to being in a relationship. And even if you're 19, if you're going to make the commitment of marriage, you're going to have to kind of stand up. You're going to have to not kind of, but stand up for what you need to do in the marriage. So we have 2 couples done. 2 couples. We're going to continue to watch their story. There's no real happily ever after, but things look like they're promising for 2 couples. So let's say it's a 50-50 draw on this season of 90-Day Love in Paradise, and I enjoyed this season. Some crazy things going on. It was some odd things going on. There was some odd people on there. But it was very entertaining, very interesting. And it begs the question, does love conquer all? I guess it's a 50-50 chance according to this season. But we'll see, and maybe they'll continue to follow these couples as they go on. And we'll see what happens. So guys, keep it here next time for more faith, love, and trends. We're always talking faith, love, and trends right here on CBiz Media. If you want to connect, email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. You want to support, check out our website at cbiztvmedia.com. That's cbiztvmedia.com. Thank you for listening. That's a great support, and all the best. God bless.